You told him what you needed. He said all the right things. He said, I hear you. I want this to work too. I'm not going anywhere. But he did. He vanished for 3 days. No call, no text, no follow through. You didn't get a breakup. You got dragged back into the cycle. The same words all over again. And now you're stuck, not between you and him, but between what you feel and what you see. If you've ever had a man to say, I love you, then ghost you days later, this is how the cycle starts. Not with harm, but with hope. Hope is what resets the cycle. Not love, not change, just hope. And that's what we're breaking today. I'm Soke. I built a system called evidence-based thinking, EBT, because I was tired of my 3 daughters getting stuck in cycles like this. Guessing, hoping, and getting hurt. But once they stopped chasing what they felt and started acting on what they saw, everything changed. Now that same system is helping hundreds of women just like you protect their time, their trust, and themselves. This isn't advice from some viral TikTok or some podcast you've half listened to. This is how you stop wasting time and start protecting yourself from ghosting. We're going to walk through one real story from Reddit, and I'll show you exactly where her pattern started and how the system evidence-based thinking would have caught it before it cost her 3 years of her life. She wrote,
He told me he loved me almost every day. He talked about getting married. We even picked out baby names together. He said he couldn't imagine life without me.
It's easy to feel safe when the words are everything you wanted to hear. But with evidence-based thinking, EBT, we learn words are not evidence. Words are only claims. Behavior is the only proof you can trust. If there's no behavior behind the bond isn't real. It's imagined. If he says all the right things, but nothing changes, that's not love. It's an act.
But whenever things got serious, he would disappear. Days would go by with no calls, no texts.
Now we're seeing real evidence. This is what ghosting and dating looks like when it's disguised as love. When someone vanishes when the relationship demands action, EBT teaches behavior under pressure reveals the truth. When things get serious and they pull away, they are showing what they actually value, not what they say they value. Pressure doesn't break consistency, it confirms it.
When I finally got the courage to bring it up, he'd apologize. He said he was overwhelmed. He said he was scared of messing things up. He said he loved me and just needed time.
Pause right there. This is bigger than it looks. She says she needed courage just to bring up a basic concern. That's not love. That's emotional fear. EBT teaches if you are afraid just to express your needs, the relationship is already emotionally unsafe. In healthy connections, you don't need courage just to ask for respect. You don't need courage to ask for consistency. If you're managing their reactions instead of addressing your reality, you're not building love. You're shrinking yourself. If it takes courage just to ask for basic respect, you're not in a relationship. You're in survival mode. If this sounds familiar, if you've ever talked yourself into staying just because the words sounded right, you're not alone. I've seen this cycle too many times. That's why I wrote the book, Stop Guessing and Dating. It's not a list of rules. It's a breakdown of what to look for, the exact signs that prove someone's words can't be trusted, no matter what they say. These are real stories from women who broke the cycle before it broke them. And I'm giving the book away for free because the cost of staying blind is more than just pain. It's years you can't get back. Clarity now saves you from years of recovery later. If you want it, comment book below or hit the link in the description. Grab the book, read it, then come back. The work has just begun. Now back to her situation. Notice the pattern. He gave her words when she needed action. He disappeared when she needed commitment. He apologized when she needed change. Emotional fear when she needed safety. That's not a communication problem. That's a behavioral pattern telling the truth. When you trust the words over evidence, you end up second guessing yourself. You lose sight of what's happening right in front of you. Second guessing yourself is what happens when you trust promises over patterns. If you're tired of second guessing yourself and ready to stop attracting emotionally unavailable men, apply for private coaching today. Link in the description below. The hardest part isn't what they do, it's what it does to you. Because when you believe someone's words over their actions, you don't just lose time, you lose trust in your own judgment, and you start thinking maybe your standards are the problem. Maybe you're asking for too much. Maybe if you just stayed a little longer, loved a little harder, understood a little deeper, things would finally click. But here's what EBT teaches. When the pattern doesn't change, the future doesn't either. No matter how good the moments are in between feel, no matter how convincing the apologies sound, if the pattern doesn't change, the ending is already written. But of course, you know the internet had thoughts. Let's take a look at what some of them had to say.
If he says he loves you and he's trying, you should be patient. Some men just take longer to figure things out.
Sounds compassionate, right? Patience without evidence of progress is not compassion. It's self-abandonment. Waiting without progress isn't love. It's a slow betrayal of your standards.
Girl, if he's talking about marriage and still ghosting you, he's playing you. If he wanted to, he would. Move on.
But even here, EBT adds another layer. It's not about whether you feel played. It's about whether the pattern tells the truth. Feeling played triggers emotions like anger, embarrassment, hurt, but patterns trigger action. If someone talks about forever and disappears tomorrow, you're not confused. You're refusing to acknowledge the evidence. If the pattern is clear, confusion is a choice. We don't know how her story ended. As of this recording, there's no update, no final paragraph telling us she walked away, chose herself, or built a better life. And that's part of what matters the most. Because the moment you realize no one is coming to rescue you from your own hope is the moment you should start saving yourself. You have to see it. You have to call it what it is. You have to move on. Not because you're angry, but because evidence leaves you no other reasonable choice. If she had used EBT from the beginning, she would have caught the pattern the first time he disappeared, then came back like nothing happened. Not after 3 years. She would have trusted what she saw instead of what she hoped for. She would have seen that disappearing when things get serious is not a glitch. It's the pattern showing itself early. And if she had trusted the evidence, She could have avoided years of false hope, years of second guessing herself, years of being emotionally trained to accept less than what she's worth. EBT doesn't just protect your time, it protects your belief in yourself. It protects your future. If you want help applying evidence-based thinking to your life, or if you want your situation featured on this channel, links are in the description below. If this helped you finally see the cycle, the next video shows how to stop getting ghosted before it begins. Watch. He said he cared, so why did he pull away?